ladies and gentlemen, my name is Forrest Walpole, and today I have a very important video to talk about. I have a very important topic to discuss. As everybody knows, I did a video, well, I shouldn't say everybody, but as some of you who've seen the video know, I've done a video of this nature before, a couple of days ago actually, but I didn't really like it. So that's why I got taken down. I wanted to improve on some of the things that I said, as well as things that I neglected to say, okay? Because there were things that I didn't know then, that I know now, okay? Just so we're all on the same page. So, as everybody at this point knows, and I mean everybody, as everybody knows, this past Memorial Day on Monday, there was a man named George Floyd, an African American. A video surfaced about this man, an 8 to 9 minute video of an officer putting his knee on it, or at least his leg, this part of his leg, this part of his leg, on the back of another man, on the back of that man's neck. They had an officer do that to George Floyd, and the officer happened to be white. So there's a big red flag there. Now, what boils people to no end, what pisses them off, is the fact that not one of his 2 or 3 other officers that were next to him, that were right with him, told him to get the fuck off the man. And now it's gotten to the point where every passing day, there's nothing but protests going on. And don't get me wrong, I understand why the protests are happening. I know why. And I'm all for it. Except for one bit, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, when this video surfaced, I honestly did not know about it. I honestly knew nothing about this. I didn't know about what happened. I think I heard a bit about it, maybe, at least the video, but not the riots or the protests that were going on. But I knew, but a couple days before I made that video, that's when I knew about it. I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday, I knew about the video. And by that point, I started to know about the protests and riots that took place. Now, it's important for everybody to understand where the African American community revolve around this issue. As history will show us, ever since the Civil War ended, when slavery ended, I should say, African Americans had their freedom finally given to them, but not exactly every bit of freedom as the white man. Because after that, they were still being treated like shit. Definitely especially in the South. The North, they weren't treated as badly as the South, but they had their moments too. At the end of the day, African Americans are still being treated like shit. They were treated like shit when slavery ended. They're still being treated like shit now. Even no matter how good or no matter how different it is from back then, they're still being treated like shit now. They have gone through everything from slavery up until the mid-1860s to the Jim Crow laws of the 1950s and 60s, 40s, 50s, 60s, I think. I know about the Jim Crow laws, but I don't remember the time frame in which they were enforced. But I do know they were enforced in at least the 50s and 60s, at the least. To nowadays, And the worst part is, every time they try to do something about their displeasure on them being treated like shit, they get heat for it. Some people were going off on the bystanders of that video, and I don't mean to get off topic, but so many people were going off on the bystanders on the video, saying how they were part of the reason why this man died. But here's the problem. Even if the bystanders wanted to help, a police officer is one of three things, if not all of the three on them. A nightstick, a taser, and a gun. Well, it'd be very fucking stupid to shoot somebody who's trying to fucking tell you how to do your fucking job right. So, and even if they used a gun, what you see now would have been many times over, would have been worse many times over than what it is right now. And people neglect to know that. They don't want to know that. They don't care to know that. Because they know that in the end, they fucked up in what they said about the bystanders being potentially at fault. Because the bystanders would have wanted to help him. I believe they would have wanted to help him. But at the same time, they knew the officer would have had a weapon or something on them to keep the bystanders at bay. Okay, just so we're on the same page there. But nowadays, it's getting to the point to where there are many different types of protests going on. You got peaceful protests going on, where people aren't really doing anything. But then you got those protesters who are more violent. Like they're damaging property or they're looting different things, what have you. Now, I will say this. The peaceful protesters are having a lot more success because, as you've seen as of late, there are some officers who are siding with them. They're siding with the protesters about this situation. There are others that are still going off on the peaceful protesters, but there are other officers who are going alongside them who tell them, you're fucking up when you do that shit, boy. They're peaceful. Don't you fucking go crazy on them. And as an added bonus, the peaceful protesters are keeping an eye on the violent protesters that are in their midst. And I've seen two videos in particular where one video involved somebody trying to destroy something. Can't remember what it was. They were trying to destroy something, but some of the other peaceful protesters were holding him down because they didn't want him to, defecate on what they're doing. Figuratively speaking, of course. But I think you get what I'm saying. There was another video that I remember seeing, or at least read about, where another person was trying to steal something, but again, the peaceful protesters stopped that person dead in their tracks because, again, they don't want those type of protesters defecating on what they're trying to do. Now, the big issue I have with this is, it's nothing against the protesters. More so the violent ones than the peaceful ones. And as we all know, the officer behind the contributing factor, because the coroner's report said that the knee did not kill him, but it was a contributing factor, technically speaking. But the officer in question about what happened is under arrest. And everybody wholeheartedly agreed on that one thing. That officer should be arrested for what he did. Everybody has been in agreement with that. But not so much on everything else. Now, where do I stand on this? Here is where I stand. I wholeheartedly respect the protesters that are peacefully doing so. However, at the same time, you got those violent protesters who I think, just want to be a part of this, just to go and say, fuck this shit. I want to, this protesting group is in this area. I hate that place, so let's go with them. I'm going to take a big fucking rock and I'm going to smash the window. Fuck that. Or I'm going to go to that place, I'm going to go inside, I'm going to steal some shit, and I'm going to run like hell. Fuck that. This is not the fucking purge. This is I want to say this is America, but this really isn't America. This isn't united. We're nowhere near united now. Hell, everybody's showing their true colors with this shit now. And I mean everybody. Some people are saying Black Lives Matter, and they do. In this situation, they hella do. Others are saying all lives matter. But they, honestly, as much as I agree with that sentiment, Black Lives Matter is what's being the most important aspect of this whole situation here. I've met so many African Americans in my life that it's not even funny. Some of whom I'm friends with, whether it's real life or on social media. I'm friends with African Americans. And hell, my dad has, because of his personal experiences, has taught me to judge a person not by the color of their skin, but by who they are and what they do. And I respect him for that. In this day and age, we should be helping the African American community and helping them let their voices be heard. Anybody that neglects to do so, I won't say you're racist, but your heart is in the very wrong place. Now is the time where everybody should stand together and fight against those that believe that this type of behavior, police brutality, is okay. Or they just don't want to hold the cops accountable for something that one of their own did. Your heart is not in the right place if you think like that. As a contributing factor, and I find this really messed up, is how our president, Donald Jackass Trump, is going about this in the wrongest way possible. First of all, what he said the first couple of days after the riots, after the protests and the riots took place, he has said over and over again that he's going to order the military to come into the states where the protests and riots are the worst in. But the problem is he can't do that. That's breaking a law that's been in place for hundreds of years. And he can't do that, period. He'd be breaking a law if he did that. What else did he say? Oh, here's the thing. That photo op in question. That's fucked up real well. Then he wants to talk about how these rioting, I remember he did a tweet revolving around the riots and protests, and then saying how this is just how something that he said was justice for George Floyd. Almost fucked up his name there, and I apologize for that. And I'm thinking no, justice for George Floyd would be to arrest the officer, and he is arrested. Like I said earlier, he is arrested. He should be arrested. As far as the other three, honestly, I want to see them punished in some way. I wanted to see them being held accountable for their inaction against this man that killed George Floyd. Well, was a contributing factor to what killed him. Because that's what the coroner report said, like I said before. But here is, this is where I'm honestly scared for the African American community. Because I've seen videos of this, of what I'm about to say, and believe me, I'm pissed off that people of my fucking race would do what I'm about to say. They are destroying police cars, police cruisers. They're defacing public property with BLM. They're making it seem like the African American community is behind what they're doing. And that pisses me off. I cannot stress to you how infuriated I was when I seen them. I looked at those videos and I said, those people are not the true white American people that should be in this country. A real white American person would be those that stand alongside those people who don't have the same treatment that we do, that we whites do. That is a true white American. And if some people may have noticed, and I'm going to put a link to my Twitter down below, I have basically made my Twitter filled with Black Lives Matter pictures. Made it as my profile picture and the banner on the background. Because I support the peaceful protesters. As far as those that are being violent or looting and stealing, fuck you. I am not going to support you people, but I will support those that are doing this on a peaceful level. But before I go, there's one last thing I have to say. Twice now on Twitter, I've talked about this. When I talked about Donald Trump, there's one thing I forgot to mention, actually. We're talking about a president that fully endorses police brutality. I remember having this discussion with two people. The first time was the day before yesterday. So it's about like 2.5, 3 days ago. At the time of this recording, when this happened. And I remember I was going at it with a few people because I was supporting the Black Lives Matter community at this point. And I still do. This person was talking about Donald Trump, how he is taking part in the investigation. He does not in any way, shape, or form endorses police brutality. There was a clip on YouTube from 2 years ago, almost 3, when Trump, and I seen this in a news article, actually, where Trump was basically saying how, how cops put the head down for the person who's arrested as they get into the police car. He basically said, take that hand away. So effectively, he's endorsing police brutality in that regard by saying, fuck that hand, let them hit their head on that damn car door. Okay? I did this twice. One person, the first person I did this to, after I showed him that clip, they didn't respond back. They haven't responded to that video, to that since. So it goes to show that they know that Trump is 100% for police brutality at this point. And for those of you who are saying that was from 2 years ago, the man's not changed since then. He's still the same white American man who thinks he and apparently cops, who thinks he's a totalitarian, who thinks he's above the law, and now thinks that cops can do whatever the fuck they want. And earlier today, and this is, well, technically it's about midnight at the time of recording, so technically it was yesterday. But anyway, a few hours ago, I actually went into another discussion with somebody about this. And I kid you not, here's what went down. I told him how Trump endorses police brutality. He asks me, again, just like the first time, he asks me for proof that he does. And I showed him that same clip I talked about. And I'll put a link to the description down below. So that way these people understand why I'm so mad at him officially as of now. Well, I have no respect for this man, as if I had any to begin with before this shit happened. Anyway, so I sent him the link to the clip on Twitter. This man had the gall to say, "Oh, you're so worried about a poor murderer hitting his head on the car door. Shows how fragile you are." I had to refresh the page a couple of times. Because I can't believe somebody was that fucking stupid to say that. It's no laughing matter. But I'm laughing at how stupid that comment was. Because, and here's why I found it stupid. First off, does he not understand how the cops should be treating the people they arrest every day? I don't think he does. You see, let me be an educator for this one. The way the police force is supposed to be, outside of protect and serve, is that, well, I should say with this when it comes to the court of law, that every person that is arrested it's not guilty unless proven innocent, it's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. This man, I don't believe, understood that concept. I don't think he got it. So I told him, I basically told him that, I said, you know, the way the cops are supposed to be is to follow the mindset of these people are being arrested, but yet they're still innocent unless they're proven guilty in a court of law. And they are to treat the people they arrest with respect, unless they become more dangerous, more and more dangerous as time goes on. Then you start going off on them as if they're a hostile person. Until then, you treat them with the same level of respect you would want a cop to treat you if you were being arrested. Which means no police brutality, period. And then I said something else to him. I can't remember what I said. There were two parts to that message I said. If I'm not mistaken, I said something else. I know I said something else, but I can't remember at the top of my head what else I said. But that's basically what I told him. That's how that the cops are working under the fact that they have to treat him with respect because he's still innocent, unless proven guilty in a court of law. Because they're just arresting somebody. But the worst thing about this is the fact that cops are finding an excuse to arrest African Americans just because they all look the same. I bet if I could look I bet if I would, I want somebody to do this. I want somebody to do this. I want them to be aware. It's like, show me a picture of an African American, and then show me a picture of the African American that was arrested because he looked even remotely close to the African American picture, and I could tell you straight out whether or not that person is the guilty party or not. Because that's what everybody should be. That's how officers are being like towards African Americans. Now look, not every cop is bad. Okay? Not every cop is bad. Some cops know what the fuck they're doing. Some cops know not to be that way toward the people they're arresting. And to those cops, I salute you. You know what the fuck you're doing. Now, teach these other cops who don't know what the fuck they're doing to do their fucking jobs the way they're supposed to be doing it. Now, there was another thing that I remember watching. It was I think it was the New York City mayor talking about protests that took place the night before, as well as how the cops should be treated. Like, and I agreed with this man 100%. I agreed with him 100%. Anybody that is basically using the job of being a police officer as an excuse or as a way to be racist, get the fuck out. You're not here you're not above the law as long as you're a cop. Every cop is like a cop is just like every citizen. Yes, they have to enforce the laws, but at the same time, they have to follow the laws. Otherwise, like I said earlier, we'd be seeing the goddamn purge as far as cops go and not the people. And I don't want to see that happen. Period. Honestly, I think we should be thankful that there's no such thing as the purge at this day and age. Because, good Lord, if it was happening tonight or any other night as of right now, oh my God, there would be hell up in the towns, like, to the point where it's not even funny. And it's not a funny joke, and I apologize for saying that. But now I hope everybody gets what I'm saying. I am in the support of the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm just as equally pissed off as the officers, as well as the people who are just using the peaceful protests as a means to go looting or to go destroy or to go defacing public property. All of those three groups of people I'm pissed off at. Now, I want to say this much before I go. If you wish to go out and do your peaceful protests, be safe. The last thing I want to hear, the last thing I want to see are peaceful protests ending because of one reason or another. They're peaceful because they're not doing a damn thing. All they're doing is they're marching along together right down the street, supporting what they are doing. And for those people out there who are defacing public property, who are destroying police cars, or you're just trying to do, like, for any reason, or you're doing those just to try to put the blame on the black man, fuck you. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to wish you all a very good night. Stay safe. Be supportive of one another. But don't go destroying shit, or you really would be acting like a criminal. I'm not going to say thugs. I'm going to say the right word. Criminals. Because that's what you are when you do that type of shit. And with that said, I wish everybody a good night, and a good morning, good afternoon, and may we continue to protest on this matter, but do it in a professional manner, peacefully. As I mentioned, I've already done my share. I don't know if I would ever plan on going out and joining these peaceful protests, but I will say that as of right now, I am a full supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement, and I will continue to be such until the African American community is finally given the respect and decency that they've deserved since 1865. Until next time, America, this is Forrest Walpole signing off.